Welcome to my channel, and I am working in my June journal today, and I'm just sharing some little snippets with you because I realized I did not share any of the process pages for the month of June. So I'll just do a little bit of that here, and then I'll go ahead with a flip through for the month of June because now we're at the end of July, so I have a little catching up to do. So I used a travel journal on part of these pages, so I rather than just totally duplicate everything, I'm just having a more kind of abbreviated version of it in my daily pages, and so I still journal about the same things as in my travel journal, but I include some things like birthdays and things like that other than just exactly what we're doing on that day. So that's kind of the difference there. So some of these things might look familiar to you if you saw my travel journal video, and that's why. So I was kind of torn of how to handle those days, but yet there was some things like I had extra images or little things I'd forgotten to put in my travel journal, or like I mentioned, birthdays, things like that. So I just decided to go ahead and duplicate those days in my daily pages. This really gave me a chance to add in some ephemera like this card that I had not been able to incorporate, did not have room to incorporate into my travel journal. And also just to do a little bit different journaling, not just what we did or what we saw, but also a little bit more of, feelings about things or things that are less travel journal related. These dates are by February and June, and this little traveling girl is one of my own, off my own Patreon sheets. My June daily pages. If you remember, I separated out my hobonichi and I was giving it a trial run doing the daily pages in a separate book and using my hobonichi daily pages as more like business type things. So this was my experiment for the month of June. So I'd just like to take you on a flip through of that. This book, by the way, is from Love Sun Life on from her Etsy shop. Okay, so we start the page. I have my June goals. Mainly involves, I had a big 4-day workshop, and I had a artist in residency per week, and then I went to go to 2 art shows, one in Montana and then later one in Golden. So that was kind of the primary focus of my month, was just getting those things accomplished. This is one of my from one of my Patreon sheets, and this, and I believe these are from Illustrated Faith. This was the goals, is also from one of my printables, and June is it was either Loveland's Life, I think that's who it was. If not, it was Pocket Journal Pam. So we jump into the 1st of June, which was a Tuesday. These are also from my Patreon sheets. I have some oatmeal. I have a little bunny that was from one of those that I'll list below. A little tip in here, journaling, and it's a very busy month. I got my Patreon sheets done, and I think that's kind of what I talk about there. I also did some prepping for my Shangri-La workshop that's coming up. My daughter came and spent a week helping us get things kind of cleaned up and ready. And I think this is from February and June. It's really cute, and I just cut it in half. This was one of my Patreon pieces. So this was a sonogram picture of one of my grandchildren that's due later this month. Just there's a lot going on this month. I'm not going to go into great detail on all of that. I got these stickers. I have some magazine cutouts. These are also from some of my Patreon sheets. Some fun food from Trader Joe's that we got. So talking about kind of some of the stuff that we're cleaning out. The woman that works for me this was Betty, that my daughter, that brought donuts. She came to help my other daughter clean, and we celebrated Betty's birthday a little bit early. Just a verse on Sundays. Daily page. I got some new washi tape. Ordered some glasses. Was excited because I got accepted into an art show that I've been wanting to get into. Did some illustrating. Abby did some painting. I drew out what we had for supper that night. This was, I had a granddaughter born early, and so that's all the information about her. My daughter re-enameled our old vintage sink. Looks so much nicer. I got some harem pants that I'm going to wear at the workshop and actually end up wearing them all the time because I love them. And this was the tag from that. Did some art because I need to get stocked up for upcoming shows. Just kind of busy days. Some visit my granddaughter that was born, came home from the hospital that day. This is a Shangri-La workshop, the first day of that, and that was really fun. It's a picture of the whole group. And then Sunday the 20th was Father's Day, of course. It was also a daughter's birthday. It was also the summer solstice. So kind of a big day. This is a card I got from some of my grandkids. And just a little bit more about that day. Then Monday is the day we left to go be artist in residence at Lindsberg at the Red Barn Studio. So that's fun, something I always look forward to doing. So just talked about the coffee shop that's next door. We end up going to quite a bit. My daughter did some screen printing while we were there. I worked on getting art ready for art shows. We met a daughter that lives nearby for coffee, and they came to Lindsberg. She and her husband came to Lindsberg the next night for supper, so it was very fun. Here I just journaled a little bit about the week, and this is the day we went home that evening. So then we had one day at home to unpack and wash our clothes and repack and get all the artwork resituated and loaded and inventoried and all that stuff ready. And so then on the next day in the morning, on the 27th, we left early in that morning because we were going to try to get quite a ways down the road that day, which we did. And then Monday was another big driving day. These were really cute. This pocket journal Pam, and I just thought that kind of looked like me and our daughter Abby and my husband Don, that we're all taking this trip together. I covered these days in more detail in my travel journal, so I'll put a link to that video if you want to watch that. I give a very detailed version, so I'm just going to kind of brush by these today. And so I just kind of hit some of the high spots instead of going in as much detail. I put in some of my favorite photos, and that is the end of June. So my conclusion after this month-long experiment was that I do kind of like having it in a separate little book, because I also liked keeping my financial records and all my business notes in my daily pages of the hobonichi. So that actually worked well for me. I didn't really care for this paper because it just watercolor did not work very nicely in it. And I also just missed the Tomoe River paper that's in that. So I decided for my July journal, I'm actually using this little hobonichi notebook that has the nice crinkly Tomoe River paper in it that takes watercolor very nicely. So that's what I'm going to do for July. See you next time.